right, well, hello everyone. This is a new thing for me, but I wanted to jump on because I had seen Simon from the Hermit's Cave do a really cool tag for YouTubers or anyone who really wanted to respond, and he called it Tarot Journey Through the Decks. I saw a couple of videos and I really enjoyed them, so I wanted to hop on and do my own. So, yeah, his tag is great because it's structured but short and to the point. So the first part is the beginning of the journey. So, kind of talking about what started it all for each of us. So, in my case, I am pretty new to the whole tarot situation. So I haven't been doing this for very long. I am fairly new. But I think that my story is kind of perhaps different. And so that's what compelled me to come on. I actually have, like a lot of people, I think I come from a religious background. I don't have any issues with my religion or with religion at all. So tarot just kind of came on for me during a pretty stressful and emotionally intense period of my life. It all started back in June of 2024. So just last year, I guess, what is that? Like 9 months ago, I suppose. And it started with this oracle deck here, actually. So the story is that I was pregnant at that time with my first, it was my first pregnancy. And so there were some concerns around it, and I was actually going in to have an ultrasound done. And so I happened to work at a bookshop where a lot of tarot things are sold and things like that. And so we had a customer come through, and she had purchased this deck, the Earthcraft Oracle, and she was super excited about it. I'll just pull out the little guidebook, I guess. She was very excited about it, so just eager to jump in, and I'll just show the cards as I talk. So eager to jump in and just get it going, and I, was just telling her how beautiful the artwork on the cover looked, and just, I was kind of intrigued by it, and I was like, oh, that's, really cool item that you found and are purchasing. And so she asked me to open it for her because she was so excited to look inside. And then she quickly asked if I wanted her to do a reading for me. And I was a little like jolted, I guess, or like frozen. I'm not sure what the right word is, but I was just kind of caught off guard, I suppose. I wasn't expecting a reading. I had never had a reading. And I was feeling very nervous as it was, and just on edge because of the whole kind of stressful situation I was under, regarding my pregnancy and stuff. So she just kind of, I think she noticed that I was a little nervous about it, but she just kind of, shuffled her deck, and two cards popped out, and it was actually, one of them was the Ancients. So it was card number 36 and 37. And so let me see if I can find, I don't know if I already pulled it, but yes, so card 36 and 37 were the ones that came out of the deck. So I'll kind of clear this and show the two. And of course that was likely, sorry, things are like falling. So these were the two cards that came out of the deck. And, you know, they're consecutive numbers, and I figure that, you know, she had her new deck, so it's just the two that came out. And she asked, you know, oh, do these numbers have any significance to you? Or, you know, any personal meaning or whatever. And so I said, well, I'm actually 36 years old at the moment, so I'll be turning 37 next year. And so that immediately kind of felt meaningful, I suppose. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust my camera a little bit here. And then she went on to read the meanings for the cards from the little book here, which you know, she let me look at it as well, and I actually took a little picture of the specific meanings for these two cards. And you know, this was a lot about, from what I recall, about letting things just be, that you've done what you could, and it's just time to release whatever you're worried about to the universe, to God, you know, to this higher, larger than you thing. And then this was about gaining a new perspective on whatever, your life, a situation, whatever it is. And so, you know, this one for sure felt pertinent, sorry, at the moment, because I was worried about my pregnancy and all of that. And so it kind of helped me to just release that, I guess. You know, there wasn't anything I could do. The situation was out of my control. And this card just kind of stuck with me for like the future, I guess, or, you know, a time whenever I would be 37. So anyways, it just was kind of a, you know, weird experience for me. And so I went to my ultrasound, and, you know, there wasn't any conclusive result or information or anything. But not at that moment, at least. But anyways, you know, this was the deck, and that situation in life was the thing that got it all started for me. She did that reading. The lady went on her way. I never saw her again. And of course, I've since bought the deck myself, but that's that happened later on. So anyway, first deck, the one that started it all. From there, I actually ended up having a miscarriage, which was pretty distressing and just very emotional, of course, and just everything that goes along with that kind of situation. You know, life goes on, and it was, you know, hard to deal with. But in time, more tarot decks came into my life, unrelated to my health situation. I think maybe just the whole idea of these decks and these cards and that kind of thing just stuck with me. And so that was in the summertime. And come fall, this deck was part of, I guess I'll call it a milestone deck, as well as a deepening deck, which is, you know, the second section of the hashtag. This was a milestone deck because it was a deck that a customer actually returned to our store. And I, at this point, was already intrigued. You know, this was probably sometime in September. And so I had already been intrigued by kind of this whole idea of decks and tarot, and I was feeling very curious about it all. And this lady, two women actually come to return this deck. So one was a woman in a wheelchair, nonverbal, and then I don't know if it was her caretaker that was with her. So two women come, and she just, you know, wanted to return this. We usually don't accept returns at our store for things like tarot or really anything that's been taken out of its packaging, which this had. This isn't the deck they returned, but it's the same exact one, or same, it's the Tarot of the Divine. So anyway, the managers made an exception for her, and because I was able to have the opened tarot set at the front with me, I was able to look inside. And it was a very brief look. I just very quickly kind of opened, the cards were inside, and I just kind of just opened it a little bit and just kind of peeked at the pictures, and I thought the artwork was so beautiful. I was like, why would they return such a beautiful item? So this was what the deck that kind of really piqued my interest, and I thought it was so beautiful, just from the little bit that I had seen. Sorry, I'm going to take a quick sip of my tea. It is some Harney and Sons cinnamon tea. It's actually quite delicious. I do recommend. So anyways, I had noticed this deck, and I was intrigued, and I was like, oh, and I remember telling my coworkers, I think it's only a matter of time before I buy my first tarot deck, because I just wanted to get a more in-depth look at the cards, at the decks, and see like what was going on, what was inside. It just felt so mysterious and magical, and just, I was curious. And so one night that I worked late, in September, this was sometime in September, at the end of the month, I recall, I just went for it. I said, you know what, I'm going to buy my first tarot deck. And so it was kind of between this one and a different one. It was the other choice was one of the tattoo tarot decks, which I still haven't acquired, and I hope to acquire one day. But regardless, I went with this one because I had seen it that day, and I wanted to have a better look at it, and so I went with it, and I brought it home, and it was just so exciting to open the box and look at the cards, and the artwork is just so beautiful. And I loved this like linen, I don't know if this is linen, but like this like texture kind of style of the cards. It's just like so great. And I got a chance to look at the little book, and this is like a in color guidebook. So I was like, ooh, it's so great. And it was just a great introduction into tarot. And so I really was just having fun with it. I pulled a card, and I looked at the meaning, and I had my husband pull a card, and it was just such great fun. And my first card, actually, that I pulled, I still remember, was the Empress. And it was a great card for me to pull as like my first kind of meaningful card pull, just because I'm not Catholic, but it is kind of a religious figure here, right, with Mary, the mother of Jesus, and just such a peaceful image. And I think it just resonated with me. I just had my miscarriage, like I said, and just feeling very connected to this image, this mother, this mother of Jesus, and just, I don't know, it was just meaningful to me at that moment. I had a connection with it, and so it was a positive experience. And as the days kind of went on, the time went on, I kept, pulling out my cards, and I just felt compelled to come back to it and do more pulls. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, looking at cards, trying to read the book, and figure things out, to find a meaning. I don't know. But at some point I did hit a roadblock, because it started to give me a bit of anxiety to feel a constant pull to the cards, and I just wasn't sure that I was building a healthy habit. I was getting kind of concerned. It was something that was outside of my religious background and religious convictions, and I was starting to feel guilt and stress and worry, and I just wasn't very sure, that I was doing the right thing, or you know, I was concerned that maybe this wasn't good or whatever, you know, all those feelings that sometimes come to us when we're worried and having anxiety over something. And so I actually bought like two different decks following this, and those are, let me grab them real quick. And those were these two decks. So first I got this one, which is more of a collage style deck, and then the second one following the initial purchase was this Biblical Tarot. And I think I bought this one because of my guilt and fear and worry, and so I just felt like maybe if I can connect it back to my religious roots, I can feel better about this activity. And I just, you know, was having so much inner conflict for a while there. And I won't show those because I don't really work with those, either of those, very much, but maybe one day we'll go through them. But regardless, those were my purchases, and I set my decks actually entirely aside for a while, and I just gave myself time to kind of feel my feelings and think about things and figure out, is this something I want to keep doing? Am I going to throw my decks away? How do I really feel about this practice? And then one day, as I was kind of thinking through these feelings, a thought that kind of came was, you know, it is so hard for people to believe in miracles, to believe in God, to believe in the goodness of life, you know, so that's hard. So why would I be afraid of cards? You know, why am I fearing cards? You know, if it's hard for people to believe in something that I do believe, you know, like God and this greater, higher power and stuff, then why am I just leaning into believing that there's something evil or magical or I don't know, something beyond about these cards, you know, like, I don't know. There was just I'm not explaining it very well, but it was like, okay, let's be rational about this, you know. I do believe in God, and I am a very spiritual person, and, you know, I'm not abandoning my faith or anything, but I kind of came to this feeling of these cards don't take anything away from my other beliefs, you know. If anything, maybe there's a way to either have them be something different or complementary, or, you know, just, I don't have to feel guilty about this. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm not uh, worshiping the devil, or, you know, whatever it is, these ideas that come up. So I made peace with using and looking at my tarot cards. And so that was a great kind of turning point of just accepting what is, accepting that I enjoy these cards, letting go of guilt, just opening myself up, making peace with my feelings, finding different ways to look at these cards. And I do see them a lot as like ways to meditate on life, or the life journey, or kind of personal growth and development. You know, these cards show a lot of different things that are like scenes of life, you know, events that we all go through and whatever. So anyway, yeah, made my peace with it, and kept buying more tarot decks and just enjoying the process, you know, enjoying learning and all of that. So this, yes, definitely a deck that helped me to get into tarot. It was the first deck I bought, and just one that helped me to grow personally, I think, spiritually in general, but also to just yeah, accept that I like tarot. So there was that. From there, another deck that helped me to deepen my practice was this one, and this is a tarot deck that I really love. It, along with being a tarot deck that falls into this deepening section, you know, deepening your practice and all of that, it's also a milestone deck because it became one that I've learned with a lot and that I like to look at fairly regularly. I really enjoy astrology and learning. I've enjoyed learning about the stars and what's going on in the sky, and I really like that. So as a result, this deck has been really great. It's been like a bridge between tarot and astrology, and I really like using this and really kind of my tarot practice too, using it in conjunction with astrology. Because, like, for instance, you know, this shows you obviously the card, all of that, but it's like Uranus, and the guidebook is great because it shows you like keywords and tells you just more about kind of the astrology connection, which I've really liked. So this has deepened my practice in the sense that for every zodiac sign, I will pull the like main card, for instance, Aries, and then I'll pull the Deacon card for it, which, you know, there is a Deacon card for it, and then the planets that go along with it. So I kind of track the zodiac stage that we're in with these decks, and with this deck, sorry. And I do like to display those on my desk and just kind of have them up there as a reminder of, okay, right now we're going through Pisces, third decan, and these are the planets or whatever that we're going through. This deck I keep in order, so that's why I'm not like shuffling it like the other ones, because I do have it in order. So I've really enjoyed the Zodiac Tarot for that purpose. And so I'll get this one out of the way. Another deepening and milestone deck and really series that I have is the Witches, Seasons of the Witch, sorry. So that was definitely like a milestone, turning point situation, just from the words alone. Like, you know, the series has the word witch in it, and I was like, feeling a little conflicted about that, you know. Like I said, given my background, I was like, I'm not sure, but I'm a really seasonal person, actually. I love flowing with the seasons, which is why I like the zodiac signs and all of that. So I just was like, you know, I'm not going to get hung up on these words, and I just went for it and bought them. And now I have the full collection. I know that they're going to come out with, I think, like accompanying tarot decks, it seems like. So I'm excited for that, and I think I'll definitely be getting those like accompanying tarot decks. But anyway, so these were the first, I feel like these were the first two that I bought, and they were intense. Like this one for sure, this one was cute. You know, the artwork was cute, it was soft, it was approachable. I really liked it. You know, it was a little dark because it's fall, but it was cute. So I didn't really have much of an issue with that. But the Samhain one, I found a little disturbing, you know. I think, again, just because of my background and just all of that, and the imagery just really was, I don't know, it just like stirred something in me. And so what I ended up doing with this that deepened my practice, this is an oracle deck, but still, what I ended up doing is just looking at the cards at night, or, you know, whenever I was kind of relaxing, and just going through the imagery. And like, you know, it's like, oh wow, that's kind of a creepy image, like really sitting with it and choosing to like overcome fear, like not choosing to not be afraid, like really confronting that darkness within. you know? Like, why am I scared? What's going on? Like, challenging myself in a way. And so I found that to be like empowering, and I enjoyed that process. And what I learned is that, you look at the cards, and initially some of them give you a jolt, and so kind of thinking about that and why, and kind of being curious, and then finding that over time the cards don't frighten you anymore. You understand something about them, or you understand that, there's nothing to be afraid of there, or you make peace with that feeling, or whatever it is. But in a way, that's kind of what the whole tarot journey has been about, I guess. For me, it's about like confronting those things that we fear, looking more closely, and just learning to not be afraid, um, to see through, beyond, deeper, whatever it is, but to really come to terms with some of these feelings and seeing that there's beauty in that. Um, and that there's really just nothing to be afraid of. But anyways, in the end, this is a beautiful deck, and I'm really happy to have it. I know that I'll be pulling, and I do pull each of these decks during the kind of appropriate times of the year, and I just like to look at the pictures and just kind of connect it to the season we're in, and yeah, so a great one there. The whole series, like I said, I have the other decks just stored away, but yes, these were the ones that really kind of got it going for me. And this one in particular became a really positive turning point. So milestone and a deepening for the practice. Mainly because it's around my birthday season. So my birthday's in January, following the whole Christmas situation, I feel. So it really felt like a connection to this deck, because I felt it was my season, um, and then the magic was this: I opened the deck, I opened the cards, and I started flipping through them. So I was like, "Ooh, I love Amethyst. This is a beautiful card." And then I flipped it, and I can't, like, the second card was this. I was like, "Wow, my name's Angelica." And I immediately felt connected to the deck, and to the series, and to like this season, and it just felt like such like I don't want to say a magical moment or a divine moment or miraculous moment. I don't know, a lot of words that we can use to describe this feeling, but it just felt right. And I was just loving all of it. So I really enjoyed that moment, that discovery. I don't know what to call it. But it was a really positive turning point for me. Like, I found myself in the deck, like literally. And it was just such a great thing. And so, yeah, this is definitely one that became a positive turning point. Really enjoyed it. And so let's see, I'll put this one away. And from there, I'll move on to the final part of the tag, which is talking about the now and kind of the decks that I'm enjoying now, what my practice is now, that kind of thing. And so for that, I'll say that my favorite decks that I have are definitely the Zodiac deck, the Seasons of the Witch Oracle. So this is the tarot, this is the Oracle. And then I also have really been enjoying Wild Reflections. And then just very most recently, the Pastoral Tarot. So I've talked about these two, so I'll move these aside. But this one became like a milestone and like one of my favorites recently, just because the imagery really, I don't know. It was easy to connect. Oops, sorry about that. Let me fix that. It was just easy to connect with. Put that here. It's my little hawk. I found it easy to connect with. I loved the natural, like, imagery. And there was one card in particular, we'll see if I come across it, that really like sparked something for me. This was the first deck that I like found a card where I was able to look at it and see something different and meaningful. And it was this card, the Five of Swords. So the reason it made a difference in my practice and helped the deck to become one of my favorites is because usually this card is kind of a little bit more negative, or just, I don't, anyway, I think it's usually like some like negativity connected to it. But when I saw it and I looked at it closely with, I have this little magnifying glass, and I like took my time, and it was just such an enjoyable moment. And the revelation, the understanding, the analysis I got from it was like kind of a positive one, where I saw that, maybe these two people are the same person, and it's coming out of our emotional, distressful situation, coming out of those deep waters and coming onto land to more, secure footing, somewhere where we feel more comfortable, where we can be more logical, more practical, where we maybe can have our eye on a goal and start to actually take action towards something more positive rather than just wallowing in despair. And so I just, there were a lot of other thoughts that went along with the analysis I ended up having of the card, but overall I enjoyed that process of being able to look at this particular card from this particular deck and kind of pull that meaning from it, and change something that had been tinged with usually more negative understandings of the card to something more positive and more personal and just my own. So I really liked that, and for that reason this deck has become like a favorite, one that I like to take my time with. And it's not that every image I'm able to, super analyze or whatever from this deck, but there are a lot of images that, are evocative, I guess, or just make me think. Sorry, my thing keeps like sliding. But yeah, I just resonate with the imagery. I think it's beautiful. It makes me think of Lightseer's deck, which I also have. So I kind of already had another deck like it. But yeah, this is one of my current favorites. And then aside from this one, I said the pastoral one. So let's look at that. And that's this one here. And this is a very new to me deck. I just got it like delivered today actually. But, and so this is the box it comes with, and it has the book. It's fairly large, so I'll just keep it off screen. But this one's been meaningful because since having gotten into tarot and oracle decks and things like that, I've bought a lot of decks, and it was just such a rush to, just get the new deck and get the next beautiful thing and kind of become a collector and, just consume. And this one was like one where, okay, I took my time. I had wanted it for a while. I'd been patient. I didn't just run off and get it on impulse. I really thought about it. I really kind of connected with it before purchasing it. I kind of looked at videos to make sure I would like more than just the few pictures that I saw online. I was more thoughtful. It was more of a thoughtful purchase. And it's also been about like kind of finding or honing the style of art that I enjoy. So it's been a deepening and milestone in that sense as well, where it's kind of helping me to find a style I like, at least for now, um, to, to make it have a more personal connection with it, to be more thoughtful of what or why I'm buying whatever given tarot deck or oracle deck. Um, so it's been great for that. And I mean, just the artwork is so beautiful and soft and just enjoyable. There's so much detail in every picture. So many things to look at, and think about, to pull meaning from. So yeah, just really excited about having this one and looking at it and thinking about it and life and the things we all go through and how to move on and overcome and see beyond and grow and learn and deepen and be grateful for. So, yeah. So that's my journey with tarot through a few decks that I have. My collection certainly has more than just the ones I've shown, but these are the most relevant for my story with how I got into tarot, and the ones that I am working with and enjoying now. But yeah, I'm just so happy and thankful to be able to share my journey, my story, and to be here. So thanks for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed listening and looking at the different decks and hearing the different details. So until next time, I hope you guys are doing well, and yeah, I hope to see everyone soon again.